I started from nothing, never knew where my next meal was coming. But I transform my life, I stay one step ahead. Mindset of disruption, I own the edge. This is the ThrillCast, where I bring the wisdom you need. Everyone is selling knowledge, I give mine away for free. I'm as real as it gets, you either love or hate me. Best believe I'm major league. Bill Hynes, that's me. This is the ThrillCast. This is the ThrillCast. This is the ThrillCast. Now let's go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ThrillCast, man. I've been trying to get this guy on for such a long time because this guy is near and dear to my heart. And he needs no introduction in the racing world because this guy has won every single thing known to man in the off-road world and NASCAR truck championship and Xfinity and man, Sheldon Creed, welcome to the ThrillCast, and good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I know you've texted me like
a million times,
3 or 4 times to do this, and it was last minute.
You're kind of exactly. You're kind of busy, you know. Now you're rock starring us. But remember, I've known you since you were 14 years old. And you were kicking all of our asses back then, too, in SST.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out.
So you are a 2-time Stadium Super Truck champion. I know that's your most prestigious accolade, of course. I'm just kidding. No, but and you also have won. You were in Lucas Oil Offroad Championship Series. I think you've won every class there, right? Coming up, and when did you start that?
Oh gosh,
you're not that old to not remember.
I'm gonna have to go back to my memory. It was like 2009.
I bet you if I call Scott Creed up, he would know this.
He would. So 2009 was when Lucas Oil Offroad started. It was Core.
Yes, that's
off-road racing, and the Baldwin family owned it.
Yeah, for the BJ Baldwin family.
No, different Baldwin.
Okay.
It was Core. Trophy carts had come out. We raced like a partial season of 2018, I'm trying to say. And then Lucas Oil Off-Road started the year after. They didn't buy or take over Core. They just started their own thing. And it was amazing actually for a kid. I had just come off of dirt bikes. I wouldn't say both my parents didn't love it. Like if it was up to my dad, I probably would have never stopped racing dirt bikes. But my mom and the rest of the family wanted me on 4 wheels.
They want you in the cage.
Yeah, so kind of raced quarter midgets there for like a half a year to a year, and then trophy carts came out, which was a miniature stadium truck or off-road truck for kids, and that was like a way easier transition from me from going from the dirt bike.
You know, your grandfather, Maurice, he gave me a lecture on why you were so good. And this is early on, and you probably don't even know this story. He pulled me aside. He's like, why Sheldon's so good with understeer and just he goes, because of dirt bikes. He goes, he just knows. And, he, at a young age, and he would put his foot out to stop the understeer. So he was telling me about all your dirt bike stuff and how you would just be kicking everyone's ass. So you could tell I was proud grandpa right there. And he said how a lot of people who are on bikes, they just can feel it. And he's like, in your ass. You can just feel what the truck is doing. And you learn that from early on from being on dirt bikes. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, because I think he raced too on dirt bikes, right?
Yeah, he raced flat track.
Yeah.
Yeah, he cracks me up. He's funny, how he explains things.
I know.
He's not wrong. But yeah,
he's not wrong. But no, he did. He he pulls you aside and starts talking to me.
Yeah, I honestly think dirt bikes, they can teach you so much, about so many different things, right? I think the biggest thing is just adapting. A dirt bike can teach you a lot with that, and then lane choice. If something's getting bad braking bumps, or if there's a rut that you just don't like in a corner, you're just searching the entire time on a motorcycle, where when I jumped to 4 wheels, that was probably easier for me than maybe, some others. I don't know. I just learn to adapt fast and not be afraid to try different lanes. And like even for, I'm a dad now of a 1.5-year-old boy and one on the way.
One on the way. Congratulations, man. It's so cool to see, you growing up and getting married, your beautiful wife, and, having your son. And then you have a daughter on the way, right?
Another boy.
Another boy. Oh, shit. Yeah.
I got told I was going to have daughters my whole life. Oh, here we are.
I got 3. So
I have 2 boys. So my in-laws don't like motorcycles, right? Like they're from, the East Coast.
Yeah.
And bikes or motorcycles aren't a big thing out here. Where I'm
they're
from,
not.
They're in California, where, if you didn't grow up riding dirt bikes, then that wasn't normal, I guess, at least in my little world.
Or going to Glamis.
Really want, my sons to ride. I don't want them to race motorcycles, but
yeah,
I would love them to, have the opportunity to ride and just have that fun and enjoyment.
What about just BMX? Like, what are we just like, how, because you're good on that too. Like you would go to Robbie's house and you would teach Max how to like jump into the lake.
Yeah. Actually, Jason Duncan, you've probably met him. And Todd Timbrick on STG suspension.
Yeah.
The tune shocks and stuff for off-road. But
yeah,
me and Jason actually built that ramp that morning at Robbie's shop. Like we just cut up some old wood that Robbie had. That ramp's still there on the dock.
Oh, is it really?
I mean, it's been 8 years probably.
Oh, a long time. American ingenuity.
Yeah, we built it in like a couple hours and then went and got a bike from Walmart. That's what.
Oh, that was just a bike from Walmart?
Yeah, and then we just like took some, floaties and zip tied them on there so the bike floats.
Max was probably like teething at the time. He was like 5 and shit jumping off of it.
Young. He's getting old now. But he was probably
it's like,
I don't know, 8 to 10.
He was young. He was young. And I'm telling Robbie, I'm like, Robbie, that's sketchy, right? He's like, Sheldon's okay. He's fine. Like, he totally trusts you with his son. It's like,
yeah, there was like 2 summers.
For sure.
Gosh, life was so simple then, so fun. I was like 15. No, I was driving. I was like 16 or 17.
Yeah, you were definitely a driver.
Max was around 10, plus or minus a few years, couple years. I don't know. And I would come out, I spent like 2 weeks at a time with Robbie. And I was there to like work on the stadium trucks and just hang out and, learn. But I would go in like early, like with the guys at like 5 or 6 a.m. and I'd work till, 11 or 12. Remember Kyle Robbins?
Kyle Robbins, yeah. He's still around.
Still one of my favorites. We still talk.
Speed tools.
Yeah. And so I'd always like kind of like follow Kyle around like he was my guy.
Yeah.
And then after 12, I was like Max's babysitter.
Pretty much, yeah. Robbins.
Yeah, that's when the fun started, because then it was like whatever Max wanted to play with is what we did. So it was either like stand-up jet skis, bikes. We didn't really play with dirt bikes, but this was like at the time when it was like Articat before Textron bought it.
Yeah, Articat.
All that. So we had a bunch of those.
I'd get him on that sit-down video game they had in that one room. You could sit down next to someone and they had that video game, like an old school video game where you sat in and drove it.
At the house?
At the house, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was like Daytona.
NASCAR I would wreck Max, and the one time he start crying, and I go, Rubbin's Racing. And then literally he just, from then on out, he would wreck everyone and said, Rubbin's Racing, right, Bill?
Yeah. Max was good at the game.
He was so good. Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
So interesting enough that you said about changing lanes. So early on, like I think it was probably the 2014 race. It was at Long Beach. And, obviously I wasn't as fast as you guys, back then. So I had a good bird's eye seat because I was like fast enough to be behind you guys, so close enough to see you guys. And you and EJ were in an intense battle, and Robbie was hanging out around there too. And then I could see like, you were behind EJ, and you could tell like, okay, Sheldon's, again, you were searching for a lane, you were figuring it out. And I don't know if it just that's how I always gauged it. And I went back and even watched those. I always go back and watch those. And then you went, and I always call it, they're like, oh, that's the hairpin. I'm like, no, that's Sheldon Creed's corner. Cause you like, and it would couple years in a row. And I'm like, these motherfuckers don't learn. Like, you cannot be behind Sheldon Creed going into that last hairpin at Long Beach. He's going to dump you and he's going to win. And sure enough, you did it how many times and took the victory. And EJ was like so pissed off, so fucking pissed off.
He won the race. Remember, I threw it away.
Oh, on that one?
Yeah, he led. Remember, that was like his first ever time. So he was actually really good for his first time.
The first time, yeah.
And you know how it all works with points.
Well, and then Keegan was right there too, I think, right?
Yeah, it was like me, Robbie. It was PJ Jones.
PJ Jones.
And the other Traxxas truck.
Yeah.
I had caught EJ, passed him for the lead.
Yeah.
And I put it in the tires.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
On the last lap.
The last lap, you're right.
I think I looked in my mirror. Just young.
You just won so much. I just assumed you won everything because
I
won two
third,
championships.
So made PJ really mad because I hit the tires and it like bounced me out of them and I like 360'd.
Yeah.
And EJ and Robbie went by. PJ went by too. So I was in fourth. And remember, it was like at the time, I don't know what it was to win, but the podium was significantly higher pay than fourth.
Yeah.
And like I didn't get all the winnings anyways, but like, you know,
it's like 25 grand back then. Yeah.
Yeah. So I never got those, but at 16-year-old, $2,500. That got you down
for third place, yeah. It was like 25 grand, and it was 15 grand, and it was like $2,500.
Well, yeah, whatever it was at 16 years old. That was a big deal.
But even Pole paid like $5 grand. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it started paying like $1,000. I think maybe Australia paid $5.
Oh, all right. Yeah. But again, you had a different pay scale because like you were Robbie's driver. So he probably.
I kind of stopped paying attention to the winnings because if I did, I would just get frustrated.
Exactly.
Because I wasn't winning that. But I was just happy to be there racing.
At that point.
And that was when you can tag that probably in this.
Oh, in the video, right?
I don't know how PJ didn't see it coming, but he had to.
Yeah, I'll have the videographer play that clip on whatever. SST will give us the copyright to that. They don't care.
Yeah, I knew I had gotten close enough in like that back straight braking zone. I got close enough there. And maybe he just thought I was going to be cleaner than I was, but like I had it thought out 3 corners before what my plan was. And then like that section is where the drift cars.
There's so much rubber down there. Yeah.
So much rubber, yeah. So yeah.
You go around that left hand, that left-hander, and you always go up on 3 wheels on there, like your whole tire left, because like you grip up so much there. And then it's like that sawtooth curbing. And you're like, so it's hard for consistently every driver gets it wrong, you know. It's hard. Like I mean, you and EJ and Robbie didn't, and then I think it was the next race. Robbie won the race because he set up EJ in I think turn 5 or 6, where it's that, you know how the Indy car has to go around that curb, but we can cut it, but nobody was cutting it until Robbie.
Rumble strips, yeah.
Robbie then went far right and was like, "We're SST, we do what the fuck we want," and like made up the rule as he went along.
Yeah, he showed all of us that, but
but no, he didn't break that out and then I think he won that race, and then like you said, EJ won the other race. So that was the second race.
Yeah,
because EJ would have went back to back.
I just remember moving PJ and he was not happy with me, and he said something to me after. And I was like, 16-year-old me or whatever I was.
He's this 40-something-year-old guy wanting to kick your ass.
I just kind of like laughed and I was like, sorry, shouldn't have kept the door open.
Yeah, exactly.
But that paid.
Well, PJ got over it quickly because very shortly thereafter, Ari Lyons like probably did something to piss him off because that was always a good Them two hated each other on the track. It's like,
Yeah, PJ in the stadiums
Yeah.
before really we went asphalt racing with those. He had a couple fiery moments, didn't he?
oh, with a lot of guys. With I forget the guy's name. Shit, they all raced with you in dirt all growing up. Shit, on the early days too. I forget
Yeah,
who he's-
good times.
Good
Good
times. So tell us about you're a 2-time Stadium Super Truck champion. Okay, now there's the other 2-time champions are Robbie Gordon. He won the first 2 years. You won the second, well, still third and the fourth year. And then Paul Morris got mixed in there. He won 1. And then Matty Brabham won 3 in a row. Okay. And then now Gavin Harlan, your good friend, and actually one of your
Did he win the last one?
he won 22 and
Brabham should technically have 4 in a row. Did he win 3?
well, he won 3 in a row. Yeah, technically he lost out to 1 point to Paul Morris that one.
Yeah, that was when Jarrett drove his truck at Elsinore.
Yeah, because he was and then that was part of the rules. Like for one race, you were allowed. So,
Yeah.
but he was on my team, and he couldn't come. So I actually remember calling you up and saying,
Yeah.
"Who the fuck do we put in there?" And you're like, "Jared Brooks," and then he's been one of your buddies forever,
Yeah,
And he can
Yeah.
drive. He can drive.
Yeah,
Like he
he's
can
really good.
Like all the guys that came up with you, Jarrett Brooks and Miles Cheek. Well, Miles a little bit younger than you, but he's a good kid, and his dad is so cool. And then Gavin, like Gavin's dad, man, he's like, he'll do live videos when you race and fucking be like, "Go on, Sheldon, get it, Creedy." And I'm like, you would think he's your dad too. It's the funniest thing ever. And I get along with him well because me and him share a birthday together. Both are January 31st. We're Aquariuses. We both like short walks on the beach and hot
Was
weather.
your birthday yesterday?
Yeah, both of us. Yeah.
Well, happy late birthday.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Did
that.
you tell Chris? You got to tell Chris. Oh, and you know who else's birthday it
Maybe I
was
didn't
yesterday?
I'll have to call Chris.
You know who else's birthday? Another good friend of yours from Blast in the Past, Scotty Steele.
Scotty Steele.
Remember Scotty Steele?
Yeah, I think he ended up going to school.
Yeah, he did. Like a Embry Riddle or aeronautical. Good driver, very good driver. Capable, and that was always fun times. But then from there, obviously, I know a lot of people know like Robbie, helped you out in your career, and we won't give him too much credit, so his head gets bigger than it is. But no, Robbie, I mean, even coming in for me, it's like Robbie. I could see working with you, but then in that, like learning that when I came in SST, I wasn't that much experience at all, and you really helped me out. Even as like a teenager, you're like, "Bill, you're doing this, and you're behind you, you're twitchy, you're doing like be smoother and run it in. Don't be, hit the jump this way." And there's a cool shot of us, me and you going off the jump. I love that. I have it up in my office. It's a photo of us in the wall. And then the one time I got the wrong impression of you, because I'm like, "Oh, this kid likes me. It's great." And it's like, all right, so I'm going to be in the lead and he's behind me. And you whacked the shit out of me. And I'm just like,
Oh, maybe?
Long Beach. I'm like, and I'm like in the car. I'm like, give me the finger. And I'm like, "What happened?" You're like, "Yo, I got to go." Like on the track, we're not friends. Like, you're like, I'm like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Why couldn't you just stay behind me?" He's like, "They ain't going to stay behind me, Bill." He's like, "You got to go. Go. I'm trying to give you the hurry up." And to me, that was a lesson, like, and we're going to get to it because obviously you had some issues in Xfinity this year. And I'm like, what are they thinking Sheldon is? Like, yeah, Sheldon's a team player, but he's always going to go for the win. Like, it's like he's a race car driver. He's a champion. Second place and Sheldon Creed don't go together. It just doesn't go together. And I'm watching the TV and I'm like, this fucking Richard Childress, like I can say it, you don't want to say it, be politically correct, but I'm just like, he doesn't know anything about Sheldon Creed. Like, to me, like, you would never pick an Austin Hill over a Sheldon Creed. If you did, you're stupid. And that's like, so to me, Joe Gibbs Racing, and Joe Gibbs is a champion himself. I mean, football coach, champion, Washington Redskins, like the guy knows winners. Okay. And, that's my whole take on that situation. Like, and I was telling the videographers before we got on, I'm like, Sheldon Creed wins that race and the guy, Austin Hill, finishes behind him. They both make the championship. Okay.
Yeah, it would have been close.
It would have been close, but you definitely would have made the championship. And I was like, so it Well, that's what the news was reporting. Like if Austin Hill just knew his place
Everyone
and
said if he ran second, but it all depended on what they all did behind
it, yeah. But and you know what? And he's gonna say, "Oh, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life." Well, you open your fucking eyes, and that was crazy. So I'm happy for you that you're going to a better team and filled with champions and stuff like that, and just continuing your racing legacy because I mean you do have it. You're like you have the resume to take it to the top level of wherever you want to be. So talk us to that. Like what was like. Because just from people who've raced on you, like Robbie called me right away. It was like, and he put out a statement saying, Richard Childress is wrong on that one. And, so you had a lot of people supporting you because we know, you're not a dirty driver. You're not. Okay. And if anyone would say that or whatever, like you're a hard driver and you're always going to go for the win. And if you don't want somebody like that on your team, then you're not a champion. So that's like, now here's the thing. If you want to be dirty with Sheldon Creed, he'll dump you. He knows how to give it back better than anyone, and that's the thing. So talk us about your thoughts going through that as a driver. Like, you're trying to win for the team and you're doing your best. And then you see this owner do that. And if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to, you could say pass, but what's going on through your mind? And obviously it made the move to Gibbs much easier.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly did. I mean, I'm definitely not. I don't like to be dirty, right? I'm definitely aggressive, but I try to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time, and like you said, like if someone's gonna rough me up, like you're probably gonna get it back worse. So, I don't know. I've tried to be like that over the years, and then I think just the way that racing's gone, right? Like respect has been lost across all racing, I feel like, and there's just not the good old boy racing anymore where he can move somebody up out of the way and be fair about it. I feel like we've gotten away from that, but there's still guys out there that are really good at that and will race really fair. So I think maybe I got trapped into thinking that's how it's going to be. And I don't think that's the way it has to go, right? Like Kyle Larson, for instance, like pretty fair a lot.
Well, I could see that in NASCAR, him and like say a Kurt Busch or Kyle Busch, and they're racing hard, and the older school guys even some of the younger guys that have that mentality, they can get inside someone, and politely, I say, move them up so that they can, pull the pass.
Yeah, we're racing, right? Like you're gonna get hit, things are gonna like upset you, but
yeah,
a few of them that I just like the way they race, and I feel like it goes both ways. If you race someone really hard all the time, like when you need that favor back,
they're not going to give it to you. Yeah.
No, they're going to race you just as hard as you race them. So it goes both ways. Like if someone catches you, like sometimes it is better, like just let them go, and you're going to save both of you time. Like if you just let them go and you're most of the time you're going to get that, respect back. Some of the younger kids, they don't care.
No.
They're going to race you hard either way. But yeah, I don't know. I just I've tried to pay attention to that more and just, be more aware of how I'm racing people and when. And the last 2 years were tough, right? Like we wanted to go and win from winning the truck championship, winning truck races in 21 as well.
Yep.
And then going to Richard Childress Racing, I thought probably take a half a season to kind of get adjusted to the Xfinity car and how everything works. And I mean, it was really tough. Like we got our butts kicked a lot. And then towards the end of the season, we had some really good runs, like almost won Darlington against Larson and Noah. That was a really good ending to a race.
That was tough too. And like I said, you started coming on strong and getting a lot of good results, and showed that you had a competitive program.
Yeah. I mean, the car kept getting better. I think I was getting better and making better decisions. And then rolling into 23, I was like, all right, we learned a lot. I'm used to the car. Like, we're gonna be good this year. And yeah, just struggled more than we wanted to. Like, it was really tough, and it was hard on the whole team because there would be weekends that we would kind of hit on something and run, okay, and then we would be like, all right, this is something we need to work on, and then we get to the next week, and yeah, would struggle. So yeah, it was just hard to find consistency throughout the whole year, and then I thought we started to kind of roll there, coming close to the playoffs. Got a couple of good finishes. Like what you said earlier, like, I'm not a second place guy. Like, I was a second place guy way more than I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I think I finished second like 5 times this past year.
Yeah.
And close to the win a few times. But yeah, I got to playoffs and just struggled more than we should have. And it's hard. Like, it's really hard out here, like in NASCAR.
But knowing that, again, it was a yellow, and now you're going to green, and it's like a green-white checker, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
knowing that if I win this race, I'm in the top 4, and that's my goal. My goal isn't, and I say my, meaning Sheldon Creed's goal is not to be like, well, hey, I finished 10th in the championship, and you know what? And my dad's a billionaire, so I get to go race NASCAR. That's not the case with you. Like, you're where you are, and that's other people think, oh, it's probably got rich people, whatever. Like, you've worked for every penny of your sponsorship. Yeah, you have some support with some family members and stuff, but like, for the bulk of it, you went out there and you got like Wheelin and different sponsors. Like, you're a hustler. You're calling people. Like, I've had that call from you for sponsorship and stuff like that. I wish I could help you more, but maybe one day we'll get the Sheldon Creed Grid Girls behind you. No, your wife will probably kill us, but won't do that. Cut that part. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's people don't understand like how hard it takes, and then you have like a team owner that kind of like sabotaged you. But like, I love the fact that like you were authentic to the 14-year-old from, like, you haven't changed since you were 14. The only thing is you're a better driver. But my point is, like, you're the same kid, and the now man that like you did not back down from that guy and the team. And I'm like, and honestly, they're going to see it this year on the track. I'm like, oh, like, Sheldon's going to prove something to the whole NASCAR and racing world on the track this year. I said, I know, like, and in my head, obviously, no disrespect, like, and I talked to Robbie about it. I'm like, we know this kid. We know what he's become. And like, they poked the wrong dude. They fucking did. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, one day you'll be a NASCAR champion cup. There's no doubt. There's no fucking doubt.
I mean, goal is to win all of them, right? Like,
yeah.
There's a couple that are close. I think there's a couple that have truck and Xfinity. I think Austin Dillon might.
Yeah.
Austin
Dillon.
Yeah. Truck so far, so I would love to get an Xfinity one and then Cup. But yeah, my time's kind of running out.
Yeah.
Like, Xfinity.
You're like, oh my God, I'm getting old. He's like 20 something.
I mean, I don't, but like what you're saying is like sponsors are everything.
Yeah.
Wheelin was actually RCR sponsor.
Okay.
And Wheelin was amazing. Like, they were a really fun sponsor.
So they're not coming over to Gibbs with you?
No, they're an RCR sponsor.
Okay.
So they'll be on Jesse Love's car this year. It'll be the same number 2 for him. But yeah, sponsors are tough. Like, moving to JGR, like Toyota and JGR have taken a big commitment for us, right? Because like, I do have some, family money and yeah, people on like Twitter and stuff are tough about that because they don't understand, like, ARCA Trucks Xfinity doesn't exist without,
with
I
that,
guess kids like me with a little bit of money to help get us here. Like, it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Which there are guys that are fully funded, but you'd have like a 5-car class if that was the case.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like,
exactly.
It'd be tough, but yeah, sponsors are really tough, and Toyota and JGR, they've taken a big commitment to have me over here this year, and we've been grinding. Like, I haven't had to worry about it a whole lot in recent years. And this year I've been like on the computer every week, just like I just updated my LinkedIn. I don't know if you just got that. Did you hear that?
Yeah. That's your LinkedIn?
That's a LinkedIn notification. Like I've just been trying to just get my name out there more, be more of a, I don't know, more of a brand, which I haven't done great. Like as I've gotten married and had a family, I've stopped posting a lot. Like I like our privacy and stuff. And no one wanted to hear about how we run 8th to 15th every week. Like I just feel like those posts got old. Yeah. So I just stopped posting about it.
I think you got to be consistent with that. Like as my crew over there, the producer and the videographer, the algorithms like that. So, you don't have to go into your personal life with your family and your kid. Keep that private, But like for racing, people like to see the behind the scenes, get a camera out, show the car being built or something if you can. I mean, don't go in like the skunk room or whatever and show the top secret shit, but you know what I mean? Like don't give anyone like even I remember going to you, I was like, what are you doing with your sway bar? And like early on, and you were like, oh, okay, I'll tell you. And then but at first I went up to Abdali Lopez and I'm like, oh, what are you just going to set your air pressures at? And he was like, wouldn't tell me. And then you were there and you told me everything. You're just like, whatever. I know you could have the same setup of me. I'm just going to kick your ass on the track, and there's other drivers that didn't want to give you the secrets. So it was kind of funny where it's like, I always loved your attitude because you were like, it's not going to matter. I'm going to beat you. It's like, and actually in Townsville, EJ was complaining that you had a faster truck than him.
I've already done this whole thing. They want me to change my hat.
Oh, okay. Did they? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Got my JGR.
Nice, yeah. So do you remember Townsville? EJ was like, oh, and then so in the SST series, if you request someone's truck, they give it to you. So Sheldon was like, here, take my truck.
Well, no, I did not say that. I liked the truck I had. I came in the next morning and they were swapping our bodies.
Oh, I thought you gave it to him.
Hey,
or Robbie probably did it.
Sorry, EJ thinks your truck's better than his, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's a Robbie thing then. Because Robbie was so high on you, and he still is. He's like, Sheldon will kick your ass in a go-kart. He doesn't care. Just fucking, all right, swap it. So Robbie would do that all the time. Yeah. And you did, and you beat him.
Yeah, well, I qualified first again that morning, and the truck said they switched us in. And I will admit, I do think my truck stopped better, the one that I had.
Oh, you're like, not 8 years later. I'm admitting it, EJ.
It did stop better.
It did stop better.
But like I had a point to prove.
That's true,
right?
Too. Yeah.
They switched us, and I knew it wasn't as good. It just didn't stop as good. Like some trucks, like the brakes were just bled better or differently. It's hard to tell. They're all the same, but some definitely.
Well, you said it best with SST. I remember one of your first NBC Sports or CBS Sports interviews. You were like, describe it. And you're like, these things are sketchy. And
really hard to drive. Everyone that's driven one is like, wow, that's really difficult. Because they don't do anything you want. They don't have great, side bite, or they have good forward drive, like once you're pointed straight or like get the left front up in the air. Like they have good forward drive, like to the left more than to the right. Mm-hmm. They don't roll as much to the right. Or sorry, they don't roll as much to the left.
The left, yeah.
Right. But yeah, they're just funky. They're just sketchy. They're just hard. Right. Yeah. So like I had my point to prove, and I was so mad at the end of the weekend because I caught them at the end of the race, and we're like racing for the lead, and I locked up the back tires, like coming in.
You got together with him, didn't you, in the back?
Kind of, yeah. And I locked up the tires just briefly, and it stalled.
Oh, that's what happened.
So it cost me some time. Like I went off in the grass, and that really irritated me because I was like, I had my point to prove there, and
well, I think you proved it because, like,
it made me so mad though.
Yeah, I think you proved it. And a lot of times when like, you know, they are pretty equally prepared trucks, but like you said, I've gotten in somewhere I'm like, man, these brakes suck, and you just have to deal with it, you know? And then there's times where, man, like we did that. Did you see the, oh, did they see it? So the Bristol race where I got second, and I remember texting you. I'm like, hey, I'm at Bristol. What do you do? And you're like, and I was telling you what people's strategies were. And I don't know if you even remember this. You were like, Bill, stay down low, like almost like get down low. And then there's rubber in, and just try to stay on that. And man, if you watch that race, I was ripping around the bottom. I had such a huge lead. And literally I made one mistake. Gavin got me with like less than a half a lap to go, and he won and I got second and Robbie got third. And literally the very next race, you got to ask everyone this, Robbie changes the fucking course, puts a chicane in, like on the oval, like in the banking oval. I'm like, why would you do that? And he goes like, and literally in front of everybody said, I think I'm going to retire now. Robbie goes, I couldn't even fucking catch you. I was like, well, what's wrong with that? I said, some days you can't be the best, Robbie. He fucking hated me when I said that to him. And then Gavin's dad, everyone was dying laughing. They're like, you should just retire, man. Robbie Gordon said he couldn't catch you. And then I said, Robbie, you know how you were trying, like, because him and Max were doing the same thing. They were trying to like they were trying to go up the banking and come down. And I just stayed on the bottom. I hugged well, you know, Bristol, how many times you've raced? I hugged the bottom and I put my right tire on that rubber on the end. I'm going to send you a video. I was rubbing and then Gavin did the same thing. And then, you know, he set me up into like a hairpin, and I left him too much. I left him a half a car door. I mean, a half a truck, and he shoved it in. He did it. Yeah. I was like, oh man, you fucking Sheldon me. So it's like, and I'd say that they hate that, by the way. But anyway, I mean, it's, I learned a lot from you, and obviously, and over twice your age, but man, you helped me a lot, and now I stick with these guys, and I'm getting more podiums and stuff like that, and so it's been fun. And then just to know I can call on you, and then you recall like what to do at a track that even though you never raced an SST truck there, you're like, I know what to do. And so they were pissed I got my advice from you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities with the road course stuff. I feel like the stadium truck has helped me a lot, you know, on this side of things with road courses, especially in the brake zones. I mean, you've driven the stadium truck. They are not good in the brake zone. Like, it's like,
where are you braking? At the 600?
It's just a mess.
Yeah, because, and obviously I've raced cars, and well, shit, we've done Aussie racing cars. That was fun. Remember in Australia,
yeah, they're hard to drive too.
They're so hard, and well, I'm fat, so I can't even get in and out of them. So it's like that was hard. Me and Robbie getting in them too, and then but like any sport cars, when I did like the endurance stuff, and we'll still be doing more of that, but like those cars stop on a dime, and you know, when you're on the brakes, you don't lose your back end. And with the stadium trucks, man, you lose your back end, you know? So it's, and obviously in your Xfinity car and your Xfinity truck series, when you won the championship, you're hardly ever like on the brakes like that, right? Unless you're on the road course. But I mean, you know.
Yeah, short tracks like Martinsville, Phoenix into 3.
But are you really standing on it? So where you're like, you know, going to like a Detroit backstretch, and you're just like, ugh.
No, I mean, not that hard, but like on new tires, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then really hard. But then as the tires wear out, like, you know, you're lifting earlier and softer brakes, just because, you know, the tire can't take that much abuse.
Yeah. And you're honestly, Rob, were some of the best I've ever seen racing in the rain in stadium super trucks. It's like, how the fuck are these? How? Because I do it, and like, you know, especially the backs in Detroit, every year we would get rain every year. Like you'd be walking through the mud, the backstretch, and it was just because of the concrete there, and like everyone's going off, and you see Sheldon and Robbie just. Whoosh. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing that we're not doing? Like and it's like we're spinning and shit. One time I spun and I hit somebody, and that stopped me from spinning, and I was able to go. I'm like, I used them as a pick almost.
I promise you, me and Robbie were like out of control.
You were, but your car control.
I call it like the death slide. Like,
exactly.
You lock up your rears and then you start sliding. Like, to get it back was
hard.
You're like holding your breath for a minute, like, oh.
But it's almost like your foot is becoming the ABS because I know you're off the brake and on the brake and you're
Yeah, like if you lock them, like I'll get off and like even like burp throttle, like just to get the rear spinning again and then like reapply.
Oh shit. I didn't know you did that.
You're fighting for concrete a lot.
Yeah. Oh wow. Does Joe Gibbs walk in? Tell him to say hi.
Yeah, he's right here.
That is Joe Gibbs? No way.
Yeah.
I'm a big football fan. That guy's a legend. That guy is, Washington Redskins. Like, he needs to go back there and restore the glory to the Washington Redskins.
About a guy that hustles. He's in here every day.
Is he really? Was that really him that walked by?
I swear, yeah.
Oh, wow. He's like, I ain't getting on that guy's podcast. It's like, just kidding. That's awesome. So you're with a very good organization. I mean, that guy, like I know people who played pro football and they've said nothing but nice things about him as a competitor. So I know some former New York Giants that when the Giants were winning the Super Bowl in 86 and 91 and 1990. Yeah. Why?
No, wait. What? I got my PR guy right here.
Yeah.
Guy's stressing because we have a media thing in 5 minutes.
All right, no, I'll let you go. So I appreciate the time. Is he stressing? He's like, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Look at him. What kind of PR stuff? Don't worry. How's it going? What's up?
Just waiting on me.
We're signing him. We're taking him to IndyCar.
Just waiting.
So we're gonna let it wrap up. But one last question. So you know how in IndyCar you don't see like an IndyCar driver like a Joseph Newgarden, and I know you follow all the sports, going and racing like, hey, this weekend we're going to do Indy Lights. Obviously, NASCAR guys in Cup, like you said, Larson and everything, they'll go back and they'll drive a full ass race. They'll drive a full ass race on a Saturday with Xfinity, and then also and then do the actual Cup race. I mean, do you think that's fair? Do you think that it should happen, or do you think it's like, hey, you guys made it to the big leagues? Stay there and let us up and coming drivers just fight it out amongst ourselves. Because like I said, maybe Larson wasn't in that race that, and those Cup drivers aren't in that race. Maybe, you're winning those races, Yeah,
people think about it that way. I'm here for it. Like, I'm going to have to race them at some point, right? Like, I want to race them in Cups. So if they're coming down, like, it's just you can learn from them a lot. Like
I learned from you.
So many laps. Like they can teach you so much. And then if you beat them, like it's a kind of a statement thing. Like,
that's a good answer. Yeah,
pretty good. So yeah, I like when they come down and they only get like 5 races. I think.
Yeah.
They're limited to that. So like usually we have a lot of Cup guys that come down. But then once we get to playoffs, they can't run.
Yeah. The one thing I thought you were going to say was that, I like it because when I'm up in Cup, I'm going to come down and race because you're a racer. Like you still race your dirt track.
I love to run trucks still. Like it's hard to find the money to be able to do it all. But
I guarantee you, if I call you up and say, Sheldon, you're not doing anything April, whatever, why don't you come run Long Beach in SST? I guarantee you, if Gibbs or whatever, I don't know what contract you have, but I bet you'd be there.
Yeah, I think I'd be allowed to because I still try to run. I've sent you pictures like the micro sprints.
I want to come and do that with you, by the way.
You got to come down. It's a lot of fun. And I'm racing kids half the time.
Awesome.
Like,
yeah.
Kids as young as like 12, 13.
Maybe they'll teach you something like you taught me.
They're pretty good. They're just not scared, right? Like they can flip it and they can just, it doesn't hurt them.
They don't hurt them, yeah.
Right? Like they'll help dad put it back together.
Exactly. That's the thing, learning. Like you were in the shop, but I don't want to take up more of your time or get you in trouble with Joe Gibbs Racing and get you fired before you even have a race. So don't do that. But tell your family, tell your dad Scott and your mom and sisters and obviously your wife, your kid and Maurice that Bill said hello and thank you for joining, and I appreciate all your time, Sheldon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Check out.
What do you want? Any sponsors? Your YouTube?
YouTube channel. We got our first video up. We're gonna make another one this weekend. We're gonna go race the micro. So
nice. What about your team, JGR? Where can people follow JGR at? It's like Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yeah, you can follow on Twitter Instagram, Facebook. What else are they on? TikTok. It's all Joe Gibbs Racing.
Joe Gibbs
There's
Racing.
actually a lot of behind the scenes stuff too that they show.
That's what people love, the behind the scenes stuff like that.
That's kind of what we're trying to do with the YouTube. We're going to do all 33 Xfinity races this year, just behind the scenes, so you guys can kind of see more of the ins and outs of it.
Now, is there any co-branded Joe Gibbs Racing, Sheldon Creed merch available on the Joe Gibbs Racing site? Or is every merch just on your site? I got
shopsheldoncreed.com going up. So I'll have some Xfinity gear soon.
Perfect.
I think I'm allowed to use the number now. I have to get autograph. I have to get approval to get the car and Toyota and NASCAR branding stuff. So working through that right now.
Okay.
And
I'm sure that'll happen, right?
It makes it a little harder, but gonna have shirts soon, hoodies.
Nice.
Let us know what you want to see, and we'll make it for you.
Well, no, I mean, honestly, a really nice hat and some hoodies and T-shirts, obviously things like that. I think that's like when we go to dirt tracks and stuff.
Pullover. I'm a big fan of this.
Yeah.
This guy.
I like that. So that's why I think most people, you go to any track, like there's dirt tracks in Pennsylvania, we go and look at them and people are wearing, a nice hat. Yeah. And I got my Sheldon Creed hat and the
Micro racing's big by you.
Absolutely, yeah. You should come up and do some races. You could
did last summer. We did Speed Week up there.
Oh yeah, and you were 20 minutes from here. I didn't know about it. You could have stayed here with me. So got plenty of room.
I'll let you know. I'll give you a better heads up.
Bring the team. We got 53,000 square feet here. We got plenty of room. All right, man. Thank you, everyone. Sheldon Creed with his great new team and, just a legend of an owner, Joe Gibbs. And, man, I couldn't be more happy for you.
Thank you.
Take care, Sheldon. You good.